Stock Diaries. Learn and grow.
Hello guys, so this is the second part of the tutorial in which we will learn to make Ajax calls with MVC. So what we were doing in the previous part is, what we already did is, we created the UI of the calculator. So we are making a calculator in which when you press a button, everything, uh, all the calculations are done through Ajax calls, and basically what we have done till now is we created this UI of the calculator. So the next step would be to put in some Jquery, so that whenever I click on these buttons, the value pops up here in the screen of the calculator. So this is my screen. Okay, so whenever I click any button, I want the expression to come into this. This is what we are going to do right now. So first of all, what we need to do is, okay, so for those who don't know anything about what jQuery or JavaScript is, if you are an absolute beginner, jQuery is basically a technology that runs on client side, that is on this browser. The website is hosted on a server where my C# code would be present and would be executed, and all the Java query code, all the logic that I write now in JavaScript file or in jQuery, these all run when the page is rendered on the client side. So whenever I say I go to facebook.com or any other website, so whenever I click that link, when the page renders on the screen, then what happens on my computer, the code that is executed on my computer and not on the server of the Facebook or any other website, that is basically written in JavaScript or jQuery. So that is client side. My computer is the client side, and any other computer on which the C# code or any server side code is hosted, that is called server side code. Okay, so what happens is, whenever you make a call to a website, all the server side code, which is essentially this, say this code or all the code written in this file is executed there. This returns a view which is present here. Okay, in the view file you will embed your jQuery or JavaScript file, which I'll do just right now. So what this statement does is, it parses the view, all the code, all the C# code that you have written in this view file, that is basically compiled and executed, and a final HTML is generated along with the JavaScript code that you need to run on the client side, and that code is then returned from here to the web browser. Now this web browser will contain all the parsed HTML, that is parsed by parsed HTML. What I mean is, all the HTML that is generated after executing my C# code present in the view. All the C# code that I write in these view files, index.html or any of these views, all that C# code is first executed on the server side, that is the side on which my C# code is hosted, and then using that code a final HTML is generated. What we do in view, we basically if we write any C# code here, we basically make conditions, and we generate elements based on different conditions. So those conditions will be evaluated on the server side, and the final HTML based on those conditions would be generated and then embedded into this file as a code. This file or any other file, say like this is a C# code which assigns a title in this header. So what happen is, this will be evaluated, it will bring a text, and that final text would be assigned into this. For instance, if your title is calculator, okay, so this tag would be evaluated as like this, h2 and then calculator. Basically this expression here would be evaluated, put into this, and then this final HTML would be rendered into the client side. Similarly, what executes on the client side is jQuery. So for adding a jQuery code, what we need to do is, first of all, we need to go into the script folder. You can make your own hierarchy or anything, but I like to basically add folders into this. First of all, you need to stop the execution. See, what is happening is I'm facing an issue that when I right click to add something, that video is not being captured by my screen capture. Okay, so I like to add a folder basically which helps me organize things, and in this folder I will add a JavaScript file. See, I'm adding the file by right clicking on the folder and then selecting add JavaScript file. Okay, what you can do is you can write your JavaScript into the view itself and inside the script tags, but I like to keep things separately because that is more professional and that is what is recommended while working in a professional scenario or a professional setup. So I made this JS. Now I want all the code that I write on this JS, I want that to be available onto my view, which is this. This is my view. So how can I do that? If I want any JavaScript to be included into my view, one approach is I add these script tags and then I start writing my JavaScript code here in between these tags. Another approach that I am using right now is I have created a JavaScript file and now I am dragging it over here. So all the code that I write in that file is now included into this view, and I'll show that to you in a minute. Say okay, now say I write this here, okay, just to check this up. Okay, so what we do is press Ctrl plus U. What Ctrl plus U would do is it will render all the code, the client side code of this page, the source of this page. Client side code contains the HTML and then the JavaScript code. So you can see the CSS and yes, everything, CSS and all the images and everything that is embedded here. So you will see that I have calculator.js included into this. I just included it. And yes, for working for jQuery code, what MVC does is it automatically includes these files. Okay, when you install a blank MVC template for a project, so inside the basic controllers this is already included. You need jQuery if you want to write jQuery code into your JavaScript file, so you need this library. If it is not there, it will not work. And if you are using Bootstrap framework, then you need this as well. So where was it? Let me see. Okay, so I'm not on the right page, that is why I cannot see. See, there was no calculator.js on this page because I have not added it to this page. Let's go to calculator. Okay, now let's view the source, and as you can see, okay, this is the file, and if I click on this, the code is there. Whatever code I write there, it will be there. So it has been included into this. Now let's do something. Now, so what I want is whenever I click any of these buttons, okay, I want to capture that event, that this button is clicked or this button is clicked. One approach is I can add a separate code for this all these ID. I can yeah, for those who don't know anything about jQuery, there are two types of basically there are several types of selectors in jQuery, but two are used quite frequently. One is ID selector, for which you put a hash and then the ID of the element that you want to select. Okay, so this is now basically selecting this element, this particular element. So since ID for in any HTML setup or in any HTML document object model, that is called DOM, which is the HTML architecture, this particularly this, HTML code, final generated code, is also referred to as HTML DOM. This structure, as per HTML specification, it does not allow two elements with the same ID. So it would be quite tiresome for selecting each and every ID like this, for having a different selector. For this, there is another selector in jQuery, which is a dot selector. Dot refers to class. So dot and class name will select all elements having a particular class name. Now HTML allows this, that multiple elements can have a same class name. So now what we are going to do is, we are going to add a class named keypad. Okay, you can name it anything you want, and then add a space. So this we need to add on all the buttons, because we need to capture every time this button is clicked. Okay, so we'll add it to each and every control, all the HTML controls, and once it is done, okay, yeah, so it's nice and easy, everything is added. And one thing I want to do is, I want to add a style so that there is a bit of margin between the top result and the bottom one. I want to add margin top as 10 pixel, okay, and margin bottom as 10 pixel as well. So when you add multiple styles, you need to add this semicolon. This is called inline styling. You are adding a style into the element itself, not into a complete different CSS file. You are adding it into the element itself. So this is the strongest type of styling. This style is sure to be applied, okay, although it is not recommended, but yeah, still. Okay, so we have this. Now what I want to do is, what jQuery helps us to achieve is, it allows us to manipulate the structure, HTML structure, and capture the events, and also to stimulate the events. So for example, if I want to click a button, I can do that using jQuery. If I want to perform some action on the click, I can do that. So basically anything, any kind of interaction that you do with the HTML, for instance, even if you hover on a button, you click it, if you enter something here, you can capture all these events. There are hundreds of events in jQuery, even key press. Okay, so we'll discuss about that later. This is a self-contained video in which I'm giving you all the insights of everything, so that you don't have to refer to anything else right now. But if you want a detailed discussion, I'll later on put a jQuery video, a jQuery tutorial, in which you can learn about all the events in the jQuery. So for instance, for all the buttons, I have added this class, and now what I want to do is, when I add whenever any element having this class, whenever a button is clicked, I want to capture that. Okay, so button click, basically this is the event. Now if you write this line, jQuery will perform a click. It will click all the elements having this class. But what I want to do is, I don't want to perform a click, I want to capture the event. So what I do is, I write this function. In essence, what is happening is, I'm telling the jQuery that whenever something like this is clicked, this needs to be performed. So basically, if you notice, click is a function in itself. I'm giving a definition, I'm overwriting what needs to be done. Okay, I'm overwriting the function here. See, I have given a definition here. So whenever this function is called, this click function is called, all the events in jQuery are functions, and everything basically in jQuery is a function. So whenever this event is done, any sort of click is done, I'm telling jQuery perform this function. So let's see, just to see if our code is running, I'll just put an alert. Okay, so see, right now if I click, nothing is happening. Now I'll refresh the page. Okay, so my new jQuery is now included into this. Now I click, still nothing is happening, but my style has been applied, so my page has been refreshed. What could be the reason? One reason is this. Basically what happened is, the whole HTML architecture, see, the file included first, okay, and then the element came into picture. It goes from top to bottom, and then since when the element came into picture, this code had already been executed. This kind of issues happen with jQuery, that things go out of synchronization. So basically I need to force one thing. I want this event to be binded when the whole HTML structure has been loaded, all of the architecture has been loaded, and when the page is ready, then I want this to happen. Because right now what is happening is, this selector cannot find any element. This code is executed when there is no element in the code having this class. Okay, this kind of issues also happen because HTML is not a compiled language. There is no compiler here in your browser. It is running on your system only. So there is no browser here, there is nothing here to compile the code and to tell this and to tell this code written here. Basically this file, what this tag, what it will do is, it will render all this code that I have written here, it will put it here. Now this code is being executed. At the time of execution of this code, when it goes from top to bottom, this code does not know that any element having keypad type of class exists or not. It will see all the elements above it, but since nothing exists, so this kind of auto-sync issues happen. But there is an easy solution out of this. I am forcing to bind this event when the document is ready. You can select the document like this, document, and then you are forcing. See, this is also a function, document. You have selected the document and then you are telling on ready, do something. And what you need to do is, you add this. Okay, you have added a function just like you added a function on click. Now you are adding a function in the document.ready. You can write this like this as well. Okay, there is a shorthand notation to this as well, which is called this, like this. Okay, so you do it like this as well. This is equivalent to document.ready, dollar and then function, because this refers to document only. Okay, so let's remove it. Let's check it once again. Nothing is happening again. What could that be? Okay, let's see if okay, so there is an error. Dollar is not defined. Okay, so dollar is not defined. This error happens because there is no jQuery included into the system. Okay, I guess the default way of including the jQuery is not working. jQuery is here. Let's do one thing. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to remove the default jQuery that is included. For that, what I need to do is I'll go into the layout and then I'll disable this. Or what you can do is, basically what is happening is our scripts are on the top of the page and the jQuery library is beneath it. So again it is not able to find the jQuery. Dollar is a jQuery symbol, so it is not able to find it. Let's put it here in the head. I guess it would work this way. Yeah, so it is here. Again, those who don't know MVC at all, this layout is a shared page. What is happening is, this is my layout, and what I design, what I'm creating the pages are actually in the middle of this. So this is a kind of pattern of development of views, a templating pattern. You define a layout, a normal structure, and then at this point, render body, the HTML that I write here is embedded into that. Okay. So we are going into very much basics right now. Let's say, so whenever I click this, I want to select this element, and I want to change the text like this, the value like this. Whenever I click 7, so I want 7 to be here and everything. So let's do it. For this, what I need to know is, whenever a function is performed like this, these kind of event, click, key press, etc., you can also have an element. This would be the element that initiated the event. So it will capture all the information related to event. What you can do is just add a debugger here. Okay, you can console.log this to see what's into this. Well, whenever a click event is performed, what comes into this. You can use this function to log it to your console. So let's see it once again. And what I mean by console is this inspect element, this console. So whenever I click, since I added debugger, whenever you add this debugger into jQuery and you open your debugging tools, so on every debugger, like you do in your .NET, whenever you add a breakpoint, the execution pauses at that point. So we are here, this is the element, it has received something, and I want to log it here. You can also, what you can do is, you can come into console, and then whenever there is a breakpoint at any place and you want to know the value of any element, you can either console.log it here, or you can basically at runtime you can write your jQuery here. So I want to know what is in E right now. This is in E, and as you see, if I go to this, and when this line is executed, there would be another similar element like this. So basically, I executed jQuery while the code was running. I injected jQuery while the code was executing. Okay, so I'm here. Let's see what are the elements here. I have, this is the ID current target, e.current target. I can use it like this, and I need to know the value of this current target. So where was, okay, I need this number, since it's number 7, I want that number. So I'll write e.current target, and then when I do this, I'll be able to select element having ID this, and then I'll use inner HTML or inner text to get the value. Okay, where was it? Inner HTML or inner text. So I'll follow this hierarchy and I'll be able to reach this value. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. You can do it at the run, you can check it as well if that expression would evaluate to what you need. E dot current target dot inner HTML. Oops, sorry. Yeah, inner HTML. I'm getting this number 7. Okay, so now what I need to do is, I need to log, I need to enter this value. You can create jQuery variables like this, where value is equal to e dot current target dot inner HTML. Okay, so you got this value, and then you need to put this value into your result. So now I'm going to select this element, jQuery selectors. I am using the ID selector, so this, and in this in its value. First of all, I want to access what is already in there. Okay, this way you can get the value of any text box. I'll store it into a value named result. I created another variable. I'll store it in here, and then what I'll do is I will update this result by concatenating what's already in there with my new value. So I have concatenated whatever is there. Okay, and then I want to update the value. So like you can fetch the value, you can also set the value like this. You assign a new value to it. Basically any kind of value you can assign it here, and that would be displayed. So let's see if it's working fine or not. Okay, so need to refresh the page. 7. Okay, so it's coming undefined. Why is it coming undefined? Let's see. Whenever I click a button, yeah, okay, so basically it is okay. Yeah, this needs to be a function. Perhaps that was the issue. Okay, so it's not a function as well. What happens is I need to check it as to, okay, I need to just know how to access this value. e.current target is this, and then I want to access its inner HTML. So yeah, okay, so it's not a function. I guess I was not correct with the spellings. Okay, so let's test it once more. Yeah, so now it's coming here. I guess I didn't, oh yeah, so HTML was in capital. That was the issue. So let's see if it's working fine. 87 plus 85 plus, yeah, it's working fine this way. Now I don't want the, either you can make it editable as well, so if you want to edit your expression or anything, or you can disable it if you want to by just going here and then adding disabled, perhaps. Yes, so now you cannot edit it. So wherever you have written this input element, you can just add a disable to make this text box as disabled. Right now I'm going to leave it as it is. So now what we have done till now is we have created the UI, we have put in the jQuery code so as to update this, but right now all this is happening here. Okay, one more thing. On the press of equal to, I don't want this to come here. I want to make an Ajax call and then fetch the result into this text box. Okay, this is what I want to do. So what I'll do is I'll make a condition that if value is equal to say equal to, okay, so I want to perform this action only when value is not equal to, then only this action should be performed. else nothing should happen. So either you can leave it like this, or you can do something like this, else return false. This is a recommended approach to return something, necessarily a false, or because sometimes what happens is jQuery bubbles up events. I have faced this kind of issue a lot. We'll get to that later on in some other jQuery video. So right now we'll do it like this. Now what happens is everything is working fine. Okay, equal to is not coming, equal to is not there. Okay, so we have done it now. In the next video, what we will be do, whenever you click on this equal to symbol, these values, whatever is in this expression, will be evaluated. Okay, these values, these operands, and based on the operator that you have selected, a particular function would be called, which would be here. Okay, so a particular function would be called, and that function will evaluate your expression and then send in the result back, and that result would be populated here. Okay, in this view, that result will come in this view and would be populated here. So that will do in all together in our next video. Thanks for watching. If you face any issue, please let me know. We'll be moving in baby steps, and I'll try to explain everything in as deep as possible. Now what you can do for this next thing result is, there are two approaches. One is you send the expression as it is to your controller. Behind the scenes you make an Ajax call and you just send this value, and then write the logic of evaluating this expression all together here. Or what you can do is you can perform some of your actions here, as in evaluate which functions to call. Since it's a plus, so you call an add function. If there is a minus, you call a minus function, and you make 4 different functions and 4 different calls. You can have it, or you can have a single URL and then you can update. So there are various approaches to do it. We'll discuss on a better approach. I'll come up with one that is simple to execute for the first timers, and then we'll do it. Till then, keep watching and let me know if you face any issue.